Hello, Hoopeston area families. I am Superintendent Robert Richardson here with School Board President Mr. Dave McFadden, and we would like to welcome you to the Hoopeston area CUSD number 11 Virtual Public Forum Issue 21-1. The purpose of our virtual public forum is to answer questions for community stakeholders, inform community stakeholders of information and happenings within our district, and assist in the understanding of district operations. To that means, we have developed an email address at forumquestions@hoopeston.k12.il.us, and that's for community members to submit questions that we will answer on forums that we will be hopefully producing every month to 6 weeks. The focus of our forum today, Mr. McFadden will explain a little bit about the Board of Education and the reorganizational meeting that we had last week. We will be talking about the Summer Intensive Intervention Program, the High School Credit Recovery Program, and school reopening for the 21-22 school year. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. McFadden to talk a little bit about the organizational meeting that we had last Thursday.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Yeah, as you mentioned, the organizational meeting was held last Thursday, and our board saw quite a bit of a change in its makeup. We welcomed 3 new members, and we said goodbye to 3 members that had served a lot of time with us. So beginning last Thursday, Cheryl Steiner, Liz Silver, and Travis Field joined the Board of Education. They're joining me as board president, Rich Eisenman as board vice president, Debbie Klaber is our secretary, and Lee Cox. We said goodbye to some long-term board members. Mr. Larry John has spent more than 50 years in education, both as a teacher and as on the Board of Education. He served 17 years with us on the Board of Education. Lisa Lee served 12 years and has also been involved in substitute teaching. And Craig Lee served his term at 4 years. And so we said goodbye to some very valuable board members and a lot of experience. Between the 3 of them, we had over 30 years of board experience. So, but we're very excited about our new board members. We've already been able to have a chance to begin acclimating them to their roles, and I think that the 3 of them are going to serve our community very well. So, our board meetings are held the 3rd Thursday of every month, and as always, we want to invite the community to participate. There's a lot of valuable information that's shared there. So, like Mr. Richardson said, we've got topics for today. The first one is a program that our district team has put a lot of work into in response to some of the repercussions that we've experienced due to remote learning from the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions. So the first one we'll talk about will be the Summer Intensive Intervention Program. Mr. Richardson, why don't you tell us about that program?
Thank you, Mr. McFadden. As Mr. McFadden said, the Summer Intensive Intervention Program is geared to help those students that maybe struggled through the pandemic, through the various types of learning. That program is for kindergarten through 8th grade. And the purpose of that is to decrease retentions in grades K through 5 and increase the number of credits earned toward promotion in grades 6 through 8. Will be one-on-one or small group instructions for students. As we know, that is a better environment for learning for the majority of learners. Students will be grouped according to individual need and identified priority standards. And like I mentioned earlier, those groups will be kept as small as possible. The location and time for the Summer Intensive Intervention Program will run Tuesday, June 1st through July 2nd. It will be 8:30 to 11:30 daily. K through 5 students will be housed at Maple Grade School, with grades 6 through 8 being housed at Hoopeston Area Middle School. And a snack will be provided with that program. How to register for the Summer Intensive Intervention Program. Once final testing is completed, teachers and administrators will finalize invitations to students and families. More importantly, there will be a parent meeting that will be held to officially refer students to the program. This is something that we definitely want parent buy-in, and we want them to know that we are offering this to assist their child's learning. As far as transportation, busing will be provided to eligible students. Eligible transportation requirements are in the school code, Chapter 105, ILCS 5-29-3. So you must live 1.5 miles from your residence to the school building you will be attending. Once students have been confirmed into the Summer Intensive Intervention Program, transportation will be finalized.
You know, this is a new program, and there's a lot of information that Mr. Richardson just shared, and we anticipate that it'll also create a lot of questions. We would invite anyone to use the forum questions, that email that Mr. Richardson mentioned at the opening at forumquestions@hoopeston.k12.il.us. This, like I said, this program is in response to some of the impact on learning that we've experienced due to the COVID-19 restrictions. One program that's not new, but is going to begin very soon, is the high school credit recovery, and that is on Mr. Richardson's agenda to explain, because that's a program that's going to be kicking off very shortly.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McFadden. The high school credit recovery program, it's an intense instruction to recover those missed credits that happened or didn't happen through the school year. And if you have further questions, at the end of this presentation, I will give you my contact information. Feel free to give me a call, email, or you can reach out to Hoopeston Area High School administration, and they can assist you as well. We kind of have three formats going on for the high school credit recovery. Our first option is an electronic credit recovery. It'll be performed through a program called Edgenuity, and it begins Monday, and it will be after the dismissal time. Our second format will be math credit recovery, and that will be more of a face-to-face, and we'll talk about each one of these a little more in depth. That begins on June 1st, and then our summer electronic credit recovery also begins June 1st. I apologize. Electronic credit recovery, that begins May 3rd. That is Monday. It will be after the school dismissal for 3 hours from 12:20 to 3:20. Monday through Thursday for the remainder of the school year. Instruction will be completed through Edgenuity. Varying content, course credits may be earned. What we mean there is if you need a math class or an English class, history, science, any of those, we have more flexibility through the electronic program. You will need to utilize your school-issued Chromebook for that electronic credit recovery that begins on May 3rd. And we will have supervision to assist with questions and program specifics as the students work through that program. Our math credit recovery, you can earn credit in math that was missed during the school year. It begins on June 1st and runs through June 18th, and it will be 8 to 12 daily. Like I said earlier, it will be face-to-face instruction. It will be housed in the Hoopeston Area Middle School. And interested students and families should contact the Hoopeston Area High School administration to have their questions answered. The high school credit recovery, summer electronic credit recovery, that will begin June 1st with 2 3-week sessions. That will be 1 to 4 p.m. Students may sign up for either or for both of the sessions. Instruction will be completed through Edgenuity. Varying content course credits may be earned. You will utilize your school-issued Chromebook for that. And once again, supervisors will assist with questions and program specifics.
Okay. We anticipate that a lot of this information that we're sharing is going to generate a lot of questions. Mr. Richardson gave contact information. We want to encourage everyone that to use that contact information to get some of your questions answered. The next topic is also going to be somewhat new to us. We're going to return to some old, but it's important for us to share this information early and to get the information out to our families. As Mr. Richardson mentioned earlier, one of the topics is going to be the 2021-2022 school year. What we're going to talk about is pending board approval because it's the details are still in the works. Our district Return to Learn committee is hard at work, hoping to finalize plans that way they can bring to the Board of Education for approval. But the framework of what the intention for the 2021 and 2022 school year is a lot of that's already been determined, and Mr. Richardson will share that with you as well.
Thank you, Mr. McFadden. Our 2021-2022 school year reopening, like Mr. McFadden said, it must go through the Board of Education for approval. But our focus, the framework of our program, is that we will be in-person learning 5 days per week for all students. We will be on a regular dismissal schedule. So that's 305 for K through 5 and 320 for grades 6 through 12. New guidance from ISB and IDPH states that only students who are at increased risk of severe illness, who have special health care needs, or who live with people at increased risk must be given the option of remote instruction. So if families want to talk further about the remote instruction, they can reach out to my office here, and I will work directly with them. But we are requesting that we have superintendent approval due to a medical condition. So continuing on, students approved for remote learning will be enrolled in a program for instruction through a third party. I believe that we are looking at something similar to what the high school credit recovery program was. We're also looking at Illinois Virtual School as an option for our remote learners. Outsourcing our remote learners must happen in order for our in-person learners to return to full days. Currently, as many of you know, students have the choice, families have the choice to do remote learning. That put a real burden on our staff members teaching the in-person learners, and then in the afternoons preparing lessons, recording lessons, answering questions of the remote learners. So if we're going to plan to go full day, then we have to have an avenue for our remote learners that lessens the burden on our teachers. That third-party instruction, you will be assigned an advisor that will provide assistance with content and technical questions. As we've been doing since the beginning of the pandemic, we will continue cleaning and sanitizing practices within our school buildings. Social distancing will be practiced as much as possible, as much as we possibly can. We're uncertain of the guidance that will be presented to us for the reopening, but we will follow IDPH and ISB guidance on reopening our schools. We've done a great job as a school community and as a whole community of keeping our facilities clean and doing what we need to do to keep our people safe. This will be our continued purpose moving forward with the 21-22 school year reopening. So at this time, I would like to thank you for spending a few moments with us with the virtual public forum. Once again, the purpose of this, and our plan is to continue this maybe every once a month, every 6 weeks possibly. But what we need is we need questions from our community members. So our purpose is to answer those questions from community stakeholders, inform community stakeholders of information and happenings within our district, and assist in the understanding